following views and comments are by MC and Jester. If you do not like their views or comments, don't listen to their podcast.
Welcome to this week's Me Podcast. You listen with MC and Jester.
All right, welcome back to the Podcast You Listen for another episode. I'm here, this is Jester, and I'm here with MC.
Hello, glad to be here for another great episode, Jester.
All right, I heard today we're going to talk about the NFL trades and everything in the NFL, correct?
That is correct. It's going to be a big show here planned, and we're going to have some fun talking about the NFL trade deadline that just passed.
Right, we're going to talk about everything NFL coming in today on Me Podcast You Listen. All right.
I feel like we're on the set of, Football Now or something like that.
We are. We're on the football set of Football Now. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do with an iPod and a computer and microphones as we sit in our studio. And it's amazing. People don't know that we're talking in other parts of the country. That's how far. You're in Guatemala, I heard, right now, and I'm still in Arizona.
I'm on a caravan all the way trying to get back into the United States. I don't know how that happened. But that's another episode for another time. We're going to talk about we had some big plans this week in this show. First, we're going to talk about the NFL trade deadline, and we'll do a little post recap of the WWE's all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, which was this past Sunday. So a lot of good stuff going on this week, Jester.
All right. Well, as you know, I'm a big football fan as a Raiders fan here. And again, the Raiders let me down, lost the big game this week. Really pissed me off.
Yeah.
They could just never seem to get it done.
Yeah, you should be happy about the no trade of Derek Carr, so you didn't lose your quarterback.
No, I didn't lose Derek Carr. And Derek Carr said it on, he said he's not going to go anywhere. He's the Raiders for the rest of his life. So he's not leaving.
I didn't know he had that much control over his contract.
Obviously, he's running the team now because he's still the quarterback based on the fact that he doesn't have to leave and he could just call the plays. He just tells Gruden what to do. Every time you see him come off the field, he goes over to Gruden and he's like, the reason I threw such a shitty pass is because you called a bad play. And Gruden shakes his head. Yes, that's true. I did. So just go back and get a drink of Gatorade and then we'll discuss what we do next series. It's really kind of piss me off. I swear to God. As a team that went from almost to the playoffs to a team that's now just 1-6, it makes me sick. And they got a game against the 49ers, and that's a big rival game. I'm hoping that there's a lot of stabbings and crap going on in the bleachers that'll kind of take away from the shitty play, since both teams are going to be 1-7 coming into this game.
Well, to tie it into fantasy wise, I'm playing Derek Carr in fantasy on my nephew in our league that we participate in, and I'm feeling like I have to start Jared Cook on the opposite end, just as a little bit of a handcuff, since Cook seems to be one of the few guys that will get high target volume from Derek Carr. So hopefully that's a good move. We'll find out this week, as that's the first game this week. So it'll be interesting.
Jared Cook is a top tight end, I think, in this league. He's underrated for who he is. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gruden trades him, because I could see that happening. Just saying, I'm going to trade him now.
I don't know if he can now, since all those are final. We've got a few of them to run down here, Jester, and we'll get your thoughts on them. But
dude,
the major trades...
all you got to do is talk to Trump, and Trump will change the rules, and he'll bump the NFL trade up all the way to the Super Bowl. Pretty much that's where we're going with this.
Clinton Dix traded for the Packers to the Redskins. The Packers also traded Ty Montgomery to the Ravens, so I don't know what the hell the Packers are doing, but they seem to be jettisoning some pretty good players, especially in Dix. I mean, that beefs up an already pretty strong Redskins defense. Dante Fowler Jr., probably the biggest defensive name, going from the Jaguars to the Rams. So that beefs the Rams up, who are already undefeated as of record time here, depending on when you're listening to this. And that makes them even better. And then on the offensive side of the ball, of course, we talked about Montgomery, but Golden Tate to the Eagles. And
so
if you got him in fantasy,
you go back to it. You said Dante Fowler Jr. traded to the Rams?
Yes. So he leaves the Jaguars' already strong defense to possibly, dare I say, stronger defense in the Rams now. So the Rams, the rich get richer.
Huh.
The LA Rams.
Well, that's what I have a brief. This is from the clip you sent me, the countdown to the NFL trade deadline. You did send me some clip, and they were talking about the trade. So let's play a little clip of that.
Okay.
Dix going from the Packers to the Redskins. So the Packers trade away 2 players in Ty Montgomery and Clinton Dix. But I like this move for the Washington Redskins. EJ Swearinger's been playing terrific football for them. He's had a couple of interceptions in recent notable games. And this is a team that we know is stout up front. They have held over the past 3 games Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, and Christian McCaffrey to 91 combined rushing yards. But being good up front.
So I don't understand why the Packers would trade. Right now they're not having a very good season. Why would they trade one of their players that's giving them good numbers? I'm assuming. I don't follow the Packers all that well, but why would they trade them for the Redskins? What's the exchange for that? What are they getting out of that?
Draft picks, all these, and I want to say it was a 5th rounder. It wasn't even like a high draft pick, which is weird. It's like they were jettisoned salary or something. And I believe the Packers are 3-3, so they're not normally their strong selves leading the division. Obviously, of course, Minnesota coming into this, the high favorites to get into potentially the Super Bowl with the addition of Kirk Cousins. But yeah, the Pack is my team's mortal enemy, so I'm not shedding any tears for them. But maybe they're seeing the writings on the wall. They got to shake some things up. They're disappointing season. They got the 3-1, I think, tie. So it's like. Not a great position if you're the Packers going into this week 9 as we record this. And, they jettisoned some players that more so in Dix because Montgomery not being used as prominently as he was last year. Some good players away. And, I'm not sure. Hopefully the opposite direction is where they're heading because as a Bears fan, that's always good to see.
Yeah, I don't like the Packers myself. I think they're overrated. Plus, I hate the color yellow and green. Just looks shitty. So
yeah,
I don't like
cheese
them
on
at all.
The top of your head doesn't strike any fear into anyone.
No, a big G on the side, and Aaron Rodgers' head always looks super huge. Anyways, in his helmet, it looks like a bobblehead. Like unintentionally looks like a. The guy is good. I got to give him his due, but. Perhaps a turn of the tide for the Packers after these years of successful and prominent years under Rodgers. This might be the downturn for the Green Bay Packers. And like I said, as a Bears fan in the NFC North, couldn't happen to a nicer team. Yeah, what do you think about that whole? Not to go back like the beginning of the season when he hurt his knee. Do you think that whole incident? Do you think he really had to go take a poo? And that's why his knee, he faked the injury so he could go in the bathroom and go to the bathroom because I don't think he's ever limped or had any more knee injuries since then. But the rumor going around is that he had to go to the bathroom. And that's why he faked the injury, grabbed his knee, and then came back out and won the game for him. That was kind of the rumor, is that he had to go to the bathroom. Did you ever hear about that?
Perhaps some nasty chips and salsa he had the previous night may have contributed to that. And I'm not sure what. We've both been watching NFL for years. I mean, or say large portion of our lives. I would say that a lot of these games seem very Hollywood-esque in their finishes, and that one was one of them. As like you couldn't script a better ending to that game, and some of them even. On the other side, I've seen the Lions make a game-winning catch against the Bears, and I'm like, well, how did we win this game? Because they took it back, saying he didn't properly tuck it and secure it properly at the end. I'm like, as a Bears fan, I don't look at that game and say, hey, that was a great win there. That looked like complete ridiculousness. So some of these games, how they end and how they seem very scripted to, and I don't know what the heck is going on, but I do know that the game that ended the previous week with Todd Gurley running the timeout instead of getting the touchdown for the quote unquote fantasy, and betting lines, pissed off a lot of people, and tough shit. I mean, if you're mad at Todd Gurley because he didn't get you that last touchdown, dare I say you didn't lose because of Todd Gurley. You lost because the rest of your team sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just him being a good sport.
Yeah, that was the right thing to do for a football thing. I mean, to run up another touchdown and then get the other ball back to the Packers. Speaking of the Packers again, that wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah. He's just trying to get the clock
that was
down.
the right.
He's not looking for stats. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah,
he doesn't care if you win your football league with his touchdown there in that game. He wants to win the game, which fantasy football. As much as we can get angry at our teams, and they're at the end of the week or season, whatever, life goes on and stuff. I understand getting passionate about it. I'm pretty competitive when I play, and dare I say, my brother and nephew might say, I'm insane when it comes to that, but I want to win. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tweet Todd Gurley and tell you, you suck, fuck you, you cost me the week.
I think you should.
Todd Gurley, I won that week, and it was because of Todd Gurley. I didn't lose because of Todd Gurley, and even if I would have lost, it would have been because of my other shitty decision making, not because Todd Gurley didn't get me an extra 6 or 7 points there. I mean, so these people got to chill out a little bit. I mean, like, if something bad happens in fantasy, it's your own fault. It's how you assembled your team, dummy.
We'll go into the fantasy football.
Yeah, get back to,
we'll get to fantasy football here in a little bit. Look at you going on a rant about fantasy. Like, fuck you, fantasy football.
Fantasy life coach advice from Jester and MC here.
Yeah,
but
like,
just the last two moves before we get too far. Mention Golden.
Well, let's go back. Before we get to Golden Tate, so Dante Fowler going to the Rams too. Do you really think they needed another defensive end? I mean, so far this season, he's only got 8 tackles, 2 sacks. I don't know why they list interceptions in here. I don't see too many interceptions from defensive end. But also an interesting fact, he was born 3 years after I graduated high school. That's, God damn it, that seems like, that sucks. Anyways,
you seem like an old fuck, doesn't it?
Fuck it.
Now you're gonna have listeners looking up. I'm about to see when was he born, so we can figure out Jester's age.
Graduated high school in 1991, in case anybody wants to know. So yeah. Oh, what the fuck? What do you mean? Ooh, shut up, dude. You're not that much younger. Anyways,
no, that's bringing back.
That takes it back a long time.
91. Yeah. But I think to answer your question, the depth he provides for the Rams is the key thing here, and it's a case of the rich getting richer. They're already undefeated. Now they add another quality player to an already stacked defensive unit. With Aaron Donald, Nagama, Sue, can't even say his name, and just a lot. I think they got Marcus Peters in that trade too from the Chiefs. So they've stacked their team going into the year. Now they add another piece at the trade deadline. Who can stop the Rams? I'll leave that question to you right now. Do you see anybody beating them as they race towards the Super Bowl?
Well, I'll tell you, Sean McVay's beard and how clean cut that thing is the reason why they're 8-0. Because I've never seen anybody who has a beard so perfect, other than like a model. That's what he looks like. He looks like a model, and he's like 12 years old. So he's got some facial hair going. Looks like coffee grounds on his face. That's how fake that beard looks. And I got to know what kind of razor he uses, because there is not one nick mark on that guy's face. And his face is perfectly shaved. That's why they have a perfect season. That is really the reason why I think they're doing so well. They look at him, they're like, dude, that guy takes time to shave perfectly. So I really think that's the whole reason. I'm looking at their schedule right now. Since you dropped this bomb on me, do you think that anybody could beat them? And the LA Rams are just doing a good job this year. Never liked the Rams either when I was a young buck. But this week coming up, they play the Saints. That might be a rough game because Drew Brees always comes on strong. They may not be doing very well as the Saints, but you never know with Drew Brees exactly which Drew Brees is going to show up that day. and he's kind of like an Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to come out in battle.